Hi, it's Deborah Boschert. Welcome to my studio. I thought I would do a quick little video about two new art quilts that I've been working on over the past couple weeks and some of the ideas that have been going through my head. So let me tell you a little bit about these two quilts. I started working on this quilt on the right to enter it into the special exhibit that's called Tactile Architecture that premieres every year at the International Quilt Festival in Houston at the end of October. As you know, I love houses and I'm absolutely inspired by architecture, and it's a special exhibit that I really like. I've had the pleasure of being included in that exhibit a few times, and I always like to enter it every year. So I started working on this quilt, and you see this house that's the central element of the quilt. Since the theme is tactile architecture, you need to kind of make it obvious that it fits the theme. I was also thinking a little bit about the architecture of a fence with those black stripes along the bottom. And then I also explored doing some hand-stitched house shapes in this red section. So it's not quite done yet. There's some machine stitching that's been added, and there's some hand embroidery that's been added, and it's on its way to being finished. But as I was working on it, I really started wanting to think about something a little bit less obvious. So I challenged myself to work in those same fabrics and colors and to do something different. So I put together this composition on the left. You'll see that it's somewhat similar. I have these same fence posts in this black and gray striped fabric, and here they're disjointed and disconnected and kind of an interesting composition across the center part of the quilt. You'll see that the house shape has been elongated, but it's made out of the same fabric that was included on the first quilt. This brown fabric, and you can see I included the beautiful frayed selvage edge. That's the same brown as in the first quilt. Handwriting as a graphic element is repeated from the first quilt. This gray fabric has this stamped square on it, so that's some surface design that I added to this piece. And then I pulled in the red. It's the same red fabric from the other quilt. There you see the red in the first quilt, and here you see the red in the second quilt, much more subtle. Two little bits of red peeking out from behind two different gray fabrics. And then this blue fabric is the same blue that was in the first quilt as the roof and door. So I think that you'll agree that they're very different. Looking at them from a bit further away, you can see the similarities and you can see the differences, and I am pleased with both of them. And I think it's going to be a really interesting challenge to add stitching to the piece on the left. I'll be adding hand stitching and machine stitching, and then theoretically I'll be finishing them both to the same size, and maybe I will enter both of them in the Tactile Architecture special exhibit that will be in Houston. The deadline is coming right up, so I need to get back to stitching. Hey, thanks for visiting my studio today. I hope that you enjoyed that little overview of what I'm working on at the moment. Let me know what else you'd like to see.